Hey everyone, my name is Kabi, this is Kabi World Legends, and today we are going to watch the relatively simple strategy for the light. Not as simple as the strategy I showed you recently with the guardsman, but still significantly easy to execute on the maps like this. This is the Elven Shrine, and honestly we don't really have as much maps of this kind, but some maps, even though they might have a different geometry, they still can be played out like this. So the idea is that there is some important point between you and your opponent, which can be defended, taken and defended with some defensive strategy. And anyway, my opponent in this game is Vindim, who is quite an accomplished player and also one of the devs who is responsible for a hell of a lot of things in our game. But he's also playing it a lot, which devs don't do usually, to be honest, so that is an interesting case. So anyway, I know pretty much the strategy that he uses. He prefers to start orcs and then go to the drills and make a heavy ground army like that. So that's usually drills, X-Masters, many heroes, and that is really hard to play against in the late game. So I decided I'm gonna stick to something I'm used to and which I'm confident in. And thinking about in what I really am confident in, I ended up thinking that it is actually elves. Even though many people and many players think that elves are not too good in the current state, I honestly don't really share this opinion. And I think that elves are fine. So in this game I'm gonna play this race and this strategy. And I'm gonna start it off with the princess. Recently I also showed you the game where I started with the 2-Rex archers, but that strategy isn't strong against orcs, and even though I didn't yet really scout, my unit is there, but I don't pay attention. But now I see that it is orc, and I was correct in my prediction and my anticipation of the strategy, but anyway, I decided that I was gonna play Princess. Princess is probably the strongest hero right now. Other heroes are good too, but Princess is very effective in the early game because of the high mobility, and also on the map like this, Princess can be double useful if you gonna fight for the top chests. But I'm gonna start with fighting for the bottom ones. And even before getting a princess, I wanna creep this location with the Elven Tower. And Elven Tower is a really powerful tower in the early game because it deals obviously the magic damage, since it is called the Tower of the Light Magic. So it deals a lot of damage to the early units, which has a negative resistance to the magic damage. So it is very good against all those riders and goons and even the heroes. So this is why I decided that I was gonna build it. And then I'm getting princess. I don't really have a lot of units, but obviously tower is much better. And on this map, both chests are very close to each other, and I'm also using an interesting thing. I'm not sure if you guys saw it before or not, but if you want your worker to idle somewhere in the middle of the map to probably repair things later on, but you don't really want to have it idling, you can make a sawmill there. So you will let your worker to cut the wood. So it will just cut the wood and bring it to the sawmill. So this is a nice little trick I'm using. And at the same time I'm gonna see if I can fight for the both chests at once, because I saw that this Low HP Goon moved up straight, moved up on the map to get a chest, but we also see that the two Wolf Riders are here, and two Wolf Riders against the Princess is not really a convincing matchup for the Light, because if the Princess won't crit and you don't have an active ability, you can really lose the hero, and this is not something I'm gonna do because it is 1,000 resources worth. Well, actually Wolf Riders are about the same too, but hero really takes a lot of time to be summoned, but so... Anyway, I'm not gonna spend here, and rather than that I just try to win as much time as I can, and since the bottom chest already came for me, I already got it. I had a bit of the resources to spend. Honestly, I float quite high on resources, so I'm adding things. That is the third tier, also the second rocks and the sanctuary. And here is the general idea of me and my strategy on this map. So actually, after playing elves, I was gonna straight to the wind mages. And the wind mages is somewhat we are really considering now, because wind mages seem to be really strong. Well, probably not against mech like bikers or drills, but against the bio army. I think they are really cool. So here I'm macroing slightly with my archers, so I'm trying to finish out the Wolf Rider. You see that they can shoot from the really incredible range if you micro them, like Mutalisk in StarCraft 1, in StarCraft World War, where you can use Halt to make your units to shoot from some unreal range. So we don't really use Halt in War Legends for that, obviously, but you just pull attack and then sort of pull back after it's starting her attack, and the attack cycle is never stops in War Legends. So whatever you do, if unit started its round land, what we called it, the attack cycle, it will finish it before fulfilling your order. So this is why you can use. So sometimes people whine on that, because units are not that responsible, but you can also use it for stuff like that, because you won't withdraw your unit from making an attack, and that is an interesting mechanics in the game. Well, I think I told you that this would be an easy strategy to execute, right? So it seems that probably it's not 100% correct, but I don't really micro too much, so honestly this tower does the most part of the job. So my archers just shoot and my healer just heal, and my princess just went there and back to get a chest. Of course, that's still a bit of the multitasking, and I again float way too high in resources. But I really have to put a bit of attention here to make sure I held this position. So this is not a perfect play, of course, but if we count in that I have to make some priorities, like I'm not in the top shape right now probably, and not up to do 10 things at once, then I'm doing rather the right priorities. So I'm making sure I'll win the battle, and then I'm adding the stuff on the base that I need, and what I need is another Rex, and upgrading the hero altar, and the fourth tier, and then obviously units, because I'm gonna still add archers and the wind mages. So that is pretty much the army composition I'm gonna have. So I rely on the wind mages against all the ground units, apart from probably the X-Masters if they're gonna come, and against them I also have the archers. So that is... that may not sound like too convincing, but if you really don't move command too much and you make your archers attack, so that is very important. You can't move into the enemy when you have units like archers, so you really always have to A-move, which you make by the double tapping, obviously. So it is pretty much what I'm trying to do with my princess, so I keep fooling with my princess and just casually shooting at the units. So anyway, it is still damage, right? Even if I can't finish the units, it is still damage, but, well, a couple of shots to the orc totem isn't really a good investment of the princess HP. And the princess is slightly low now, so I am pulling it, I'm pulling her back, but here I got an idea that I probably, while I still have time before the attack, because my attack is gonna be when I'm gonna be max out, and I don't even have the 4th farm yet, so it's not too soon to come. But while this happening, I'm gonna roam around the middle part of the map and gonna see if my enemy probably got the mana well. I don't really wanna lose the healer, so I pull her back. And I'm now checking if the mana well is captured, but it's not. On this map, if we fight for the middle position like this, we can't really afford it to fight also for the mana wells. So this is why we basically not taking it and barely use any scrolls in this game. So that's probably a shame that we can't, that we didn't have enough skill to sort of divide our armies and get the mana wells. But for me it wouldn't make a lot of sense, because my enemy using the Wolf Riders, so they're extremely mobile, and probably I could have played the princess against them, but I thought I wasn't gonna have as much multitasking, so I'm just making things simpler and keep adding the wind mages. I'm even using the higher scroll, higher acceleration scroll, to get one more wind mage, and I have 8 more food, so I can use it to get 2 more archers, and then I'll be pretty much maxed out. So then will be my power spike, I believe, where I'm gonna move out and see if I can apply a pressure on my opponent. Obviously I have a lot of magic damage from the wind mages and as well the princes, but archers can still do physical. Physical is important, obviously, against the buildings. Also, there's Paladin, right? And it seems that I even pulled the worker with me. Oh, not really. It just I just pulled the worker from the base to start cutting wood to be able to repair the tower, in case if my enemy is gonna stop me and gonna pull me back. We'll see that happens. Now I am pulling my wind mages as far as I can from the magic tower, and in the meantime my archers take down the arc totem, because I'm not gonna let my enemy have a free plus attack damage aura. And then the archers start targeting the random things, such as the dark magic tower. They are not doing great, they're not doing that great, so I'm pulling them slightly back to focus fire down this zombie. Obviously I'm not gonna feed the zombies. And here come the aeronauts, so that is probably how Windim decided to deal with the wind mages, and that can of course work, but the numbers are calling for me, they're on my side. Alright, it seems that I completely missed the run by other Wolf Riders, so I pretty much lost all the mining here, but luckily I upgraded my barracks a couple of minutes ago, probably a minute ago, so I ordered the guardsmen, so 2 of my guardsmen, whom I was able to hire because I lost a couple of units. They came to deal also. I rallied back a couple of damaged wind mages in order to then hire the healer and heal them in the base. And since my army was still fighting there, Windim decided to tap out, and This is the strategy, pretty much the pure elves, with just an addition of the human tech, and Paladin. I didn't even mention him because I'm not sure if he really played an important role. Probably another wind mages wouldn't be worse than that. But anyway, you can add it just in case, so that you can add guardsmen and probably ballistas if there is a heavy defense. But it didn't happen in this game, so let's not mention that. And you guys can try the strategy, at least at the maps when you can really fortificate in the middle and deny your enemy from moving freely around the map. So that's really helpful, and that's where your slower units can really shine, like in this game. So I hope this was helpful. Make sure to sub to my channel so that you don't miss the next videos, and I'll wrap it for today and see you next time. Bye bye.